Each year, more than 4 million people in over 20 countries raise money in an effort to help end cancer. The El Segundo community has continually joined in that fight. Jennifer Murillo was at Library Park to tell us how.
We're here at Library Park where survivors, caregivers, and the community has come together for Relay for Life.
It's a way for the neighbors and the community members of El Segundo to come together in an active way to meet other people who have been touched by cancer and fight back together as a community.
Over 11 teams and 65 participants joined in the 9th annual El Segundo Relay for Life.
It's a disease that does not discriminate, it does not alienate, it actually attacks anybody and everybody. And if we can get rid of it in our lifetime, we're just so much better society for that.
This is a good cause because it brings a lot of people together. It's trying to cope with this situation because it is deadly. There's various types of cancers, and you just never know when tomorrow might be your turn.
After opening remarks, the relay kicked off with cancer survivors being thanked for their bravery, and they took on the first lap that continued with others joining in for 9 hours.
All these women that are survivors are so strong, and they just, they went through, I imagine they went through worse than I did. I didn't have to do any radiation. I mainly took pills. I did the IV, but for those that went beyond, I can't imagine. And some people go beyond a year doing the treatments. I just did 6 months.
I was very fortunate that I stuck with the treatment when I had reactions and things that most people would say I don't want to continue on, but I did. I finished the course of treatment my doctors gave me. No matter how sick I got, no matter how healthy I looked, but knowing that that would give me the longer life to stay and be able to one day hopefully see a cure for cancer.
This continuous fight is also fought by those caregivers who help yet also learn a lot from those with cancer.
I think anytime you hear about someone you love, hearing the words, they have cancer, I have cancer, really puts your world into perspective, and you value the time that you have with them, and you just remember how valuable the people you love are in your lives and making sure that you keep them close.
My mother has lost her life, but the one thing she told me was, sweetie, at least I know how to live. I'm watching you. That made me feel so good. My mother smoked my whole life. The moment she heard I had cancer, she quit. So you make a difference in people's lives and don't realize it.
This year alone, the joint effort of these teams has raised $15,000. But Relay for Life not only has helped raise money to find a cure, but also gets people talking about this disease.
I tell people my story, and when they hear my story, it may get them to think, oh my, this lump that I have right here probably should be checked. And then somebody goes and finds out, oh, they had a cancer, or it wasn't cancer, but if they left it, it could become cancerous.
Talk to your doctor. Don't ignore the signs, even if you feel it's just poor dieting or just, a headache or whatever. Just always get checked out. It may not be important, but later on, it could save your life.
Survivors say that early detection is the key, as this disease is one that affects men, women, and children alike.
A girlfriend took me for a thyroid test, and then realized she had a lot of the same symptoms. She saw her doctor, and she did have thyroid cancer. And she is now a survivor. She is cancer-free. And that, to me, made my whole life worth living for, was that one diagnosis that, yes, we've got it.
I go every 3 years for myself. Luckily, so far, okay, but that doesn't mean that something won't happen tomorrow.
As the night began to fall, the group gathered for the Luminaria ceremony. Glow sticks began to shine in remembrance of all those who have lost the battle.
One of the hardest parts of this entire event, because it's a representation of the people who aren't here anymore, and unfortunately I have a list that's longer than I think it should be, especially with cancer involved. So for me, every time they break one of those light wands open, there's a part that breaks in me too, but it also kind of reinforces the fact why I'm here and what I'm hoping for, which is let's get rid of this silly, ugly disease and have it done.
It burns for others to see, but it burns brightest in our hearts and in our souls.
Lights shine bright that night and continue to do so as everyone continues in the fight. For El Segundo TV, I'm Jennifer Murillo.